Today agenda I kept it as India by lens, and today I'm talking about, since you guys are into hospitality and you guys are into learning how you can show people around India, either it's international or Indian guests. So this particular slide is about India as a lens, with a lens particularly, and I guess Lama sir, it allows me now to jump in my window. So I'm taking over from your window so that I can, whenever I'm talking, I can show that around.
Okay. Okay. Sir.
Okay. So just a second. Now I can see the toolbar, guys. I really apologize for this technical glitch here, but. Something is. Tom would like to share content on your screen. Lumi. What do you have? I guess I'm there. There you go. Yes. Now what you see up here, called India by lens. These are the pictures which is clicked by me and my team. And I'd really like to thank here one of your IITTM students, Ashwani Bhati. He was in my team, he's in my team, who edited most of the pictures here. So I would like to start with this monument. So whenever we talk about the photography, we end up thinking about the monument. For me, photography tourism is always or not particularly limited to the monument. First of all, the photography makes a tourist to achieve something out of their travel, because possibly he, or for sure he haven't made that monument, but the picture clicked by him is something which he's going to carry back with him, and with a different angle, different lighting, different exposure. That is what can be called as his own personal possession of that monument. So picture always been, until now, plays a major role. Last few years, it has completely came up with a different understanding now, and people do take trips to different countries specifically for photography. India is a land for serious photography, where we're talking about our festivals, our people, our colors, and so on. There's a lot to explore within one country, if I have to give an example. And photography really helps to capture and showcase around the world the same. So today I kept it, I divided rather than, and I, most of all, that I really want to explain here, that in this program, in this lecture, I'm not giving you any how to do photography, how best you can do a photography. I'm talking about how you can be a photo storyteller, because I think this is beyond learning photography. As in many of you know photography, many of you know editing, but I am talking about here beyond that particular skill of operating camera. So today's lesson will be more than operating a camera. where you can showcase your city. You can tell your city points, city highlights by its lens, and that you can help others to grab a good picture. So in this case, I have highlighted three monuments here. One is from Lucknow. Those who know this one in the bottom. Right side is the Humayun's tomb. And on the left hand side is a very young monument of Delhi. It's a National Wall Memorial. And, uh, and it's a very first picture of this monument as well. And it's been selected by them too. So this tells about the story of our war, the soldiers who died in the wars, and their memories are been there in a different way. So this is the way that I'm trying to make a point that you are not bound to a camera or equipment while narrating the story. You don't have to be a professional photographer to be a photo tour storyteller. Some of the points you need to make sure when you are learning these photo tourism that it is not at all. I'm underlining, I'm repeating again and again that you're not bound to have the expensive camera. You're not bound to know all the features of the camera. You're not bound to know every damn functionality one can talk about. What you need to know is your city pretty well. You need to learn when and where you can get a better pictures. You should know the eye of a photographer because no two photographers would be same. But if you have a variety of options for any of the person who is visiting, could really, really make change in the trip. So this is a sunset at the same monument. If I repeat here, this is the same soldier which you see on the left corner, top corner, and it's with a different angle of same. So as a photo tourist, facilitator, or a storyteller, you need to learn these basic aspects of photography which one can capture. Of course, I enjoy photography. I have taken this subject little much further and also learned myself, but you do not need to really know the camera operation. You need to know what is an eye. You work as a spotter. You're not maybe holding a gun, but you work as a hunter spotter. That way you can, spot the particular incident or a scene. So it becomes like if you have seen the movies, I'm sure you're going to see the movie. So even the sniper cases, there are always two people. One is a spotter, one is a sniper. So same way the storyteller or a photo tourist, photo tour guide facilitator works. So that is what photo tourism for me as a commercial angle here. Of course, photograph fascinates everyone. And similarly, in the same monument, this is another shot where I have taken the sun in a completely three different manner, where I have used the light in the first picture. Second, I have used the light of the sun to glorify the helmet or the head of the soldier. And within the third monument, that is used to call King George Chhatri. I have removed the statue of King George now, but just to showcase that how different it could be. So then now the interesting subject comes in. So most of the time we think that, okay, if you're going monument, you are photography. But as long as you can expand the area of, or you can say, expand the inventory that one can capture within, and you create a story around it. So it could be anything. And the photography or photography is not location bound. Photography is not subject bound. It is bound by the guy who is narrating a story. So your storytelling has to be perfect. You can always give a narration. Most of the pictures today, I haven't give any narration. What you just see is a picture because I don't wanted you to think my way. I really wanted everyone to have their own perspective, own understanding for the same. So in this case, what you see is a guy who is in Old Delhi. It's my hometown. Who has been, just sharpening a tool which is used for cutting betel nuts. सुपारी काटने के लिए ये टूल इस्तेमाल होता है and this guy has been doing this job from many years. So for me, sometimes that you have to go hardship, you have to really go to a tough wheel of learning or sharpening yourself. Of course, you're going to see some sparkles, but end result is going to be sharp and edgy. That is what I'm trying to make a point here. So you really have to learn the basic stories around the scene around you. So I say every one step there is a story. You just need an eye of a scooter, and you also need a skill of a photographer. So in my city, anything could be interesting for any guy. For me, this abandoned staircase and the small light coming from the top is a staircase to a heaven. Or this gentleman who is just stepping out from his house in Jodhpur, a beautiful blue door frame wall and the green door frame, and his eye reaction. In this case, we have learned the angles that how you can, with a limited lens, you can get maximum out of a picture or a frame. So if you see on the right hand side of your screen, the blue gate, blue wall and the green gate, my lens wasn't really capable of capturing this whole scene, but that's where I explored that you can bend down and get the maximum out of your frame. This is something that you really have to read and learn. So it doesn't really require you to have a camera, but these are the tips which can help your tourists, your guests, your facilitating audience, that the audience who you are facilitating about the tour, to capture or get maximum out of it. This is one of my favorite pictures. It shows the age, abandonness, and it shows the simplicity of the city, and how interesting one scooter could be for a picture moment where you can have some nostalgic memories. So this is what I spotted. So I'm starting with the basics. I'm going to get this subject more interesting. And to be honest, the slide which I'm showing you guys, this has been created just for you, for IITTM, and stories around it. I kept it pretty raw in sense of that I'm not giving a lot of reading material in this, since it's a photo. So I just wanted to narrate the every photo or maximum the scene and scenario, that how, what, and when you can click a picture or ask people to click a picture and get a story. For me, every tour operator guy, either he's into the cabin and the itinerary or in the field taking guests around, have to have some basic senses of all the product which is viable or not viable. So a simple street scene could define your city. It defines a beautiful morning of Old Delhi, where one guy the enjoying his just morning walk and out sitting next to the guy who is just creating the garland or for the morning prayers, and the colors and the angle and the framing. That is one of the aspects that one have to learn and understand. It requires a lot of patience though, but when you are actually act as a storyteller, that is what people expect from you. I guess storyteller expect from you, and that is where I started creating a subject around it. So what you see now is where I'm trying to define now specific subjective photography. So I picked up like India is a land of many faiths, many uh, religion, and we all have a different way of praying it. Either we're talking about the incense which is burning next to in the top right corner, and either we talk about this lemon and the green chili here, or we talk about this Gurudwara scene where somebody is just pouring a water for a thirsty guy. So it's a different way, and same way we pray differently. So on the top left corner, what you see a woman praying quietly, sitting in the corridor of a Gurudwara. For me, it was one of the quietest prayer where she was within herself. Where a very next scene, if I really have to define another faith, is from the Dargah of Ahmadin, where Qawwali happens. And both the faith has, both the religion has equal faith, but the practice is different, which brings, completely a different angle to showcase or talk about, where we can only pick one and just, completely create a story around it that we capture the different faiths of India, and try to capture those smaller aspects we usually miss out even in our own visit. So that's one. Then on the upper left corner picture, what you see is a depth in the picture, what I have created to showcase that how quiet. If you see the corridor going in the depth, where I kept my focus, where I kept the lighting, for me, the lighting was very, very capturing here. If you see that the door frame uh, shadow I tried capture that lady in that. So so these are the small aspects, and trust me, because most of the pictures what I have clicked here are when I was on the tour, not for myself. I have been a lot of time I go myself too, but most of the pictures which I'm showcasing today, I was very particular about that. I should only put those pictures which I've clicked with guests when only put the pictures which I clicked when I was with a guest and narrating the story to them, or I was with them while talking or taking them on a tour. So that it should be experienced pictures by exact what I'm explaining. So in the bottom, as you see, that I wanted that the devotees and singing guy should be in the same frame. And colors, of course, that is one of the unique points for India. So the second frame I've just gone through. I'm a big a black and white lover. So do my partner here, Ashwani, who edited the pictures. He also learned and explored this little further, and bought maximum out of one picture, and you can see the beautifully captured smoke in this incense or angle of Ganesha. This is basically a dough frame in Old Delhi. It is made out of, you can say, it's a stone which is carved beautifully. But if I would have, I have to bend down to take this shot and get maximum out of this picture. So today I'm not talking any particularly technical skill, which I think everybody is exposed on internet. But I wanted to talk about the angles. I wanted to talk about the lighting condition. I wanted to talk about the narration. So very simple picture of an elephant. I'm not even calling it a Ganesha because it was not. But bringing into an angle which really make people interested in it. That's one of the idea. Then other thing I really like to talk about today, style. Style. That is what you can capture on the street. Luckily in India so far, I've been other part of the world too, but in India people don't ask for money when you're fixing them, and they're happy when you're fixing them. So that really makes a very comfortable ground to operate photo tour or to encourage photo tourism in India, because people don't get offended. We have a very, very different attitude towards when somebody takes a picture. Most of the pictures which I am clicking here are candidates. Some of them are also, which is also a very, happy point or interesting point for me, because people are okay to see for you. People are okay to pose for you. People are okay to listen to you the way you want a picture, and they do not want money for it. It's the same frame, two different colors. And this is a storyline in which I am talking about the life, style and life. Everybody got their unique style, and the camera, just have to capture it in the right moment. So in this case, I just captured. I'm a big smoke chaser. I like to capture smoke. Yeah, I like to capture smoke. Either it's cooking, or either it's prayer, or either somebody's cooking it. In these cases, I'm very, very, fond of the faces of the character. If you look at all the faces here, I just captured people. People is nothing better than people. I personally, if you ask me, if somebody talk about, for example, I'm bringing back this PPT here to the monument page. I'm sure everybody can see it. Even I was in the right place, everything right. Even having the beautiful monument, one of the most beautiful monuments in the world. For me, this guy was more important, and the expression, his legs particularly, if I really have to talk about, I loved his feet. I was very, very fascinated with his face expressions, that he was not bothered at all. He was not bothered at all that he is just sailing next to the monument, which is where people travel 1,000 miles just to see that monument. He was just busy with his job. So those kind of scenes you need to understand, and the stories that you can capture. Of course, there is no guidebook for this, but this is a perspective that I'm trying to make today, you guys. For like if you look at, for example, this girl, the girl I was clicking again. If you look at, she's doing a yoga and flawless yoga. For me, most of the people, the monument behind is fascinating. For me, this woman's feet was fascinating. If you look at, so right time, right place, that is what we are talking about today. So I bring back to that same slide that we were talking about creating a story, learning how to create a story. And in the previous session, I also mentioned about 360-degree knowledge that one should carry. So, despite all study material that you're doing, or everything that you know or you're talking about, this particularly skill set of knowing photography, points, photography, stories will really add a strong character to your resume. Personally, I would be really interested. And I say that to look at the different prospect is very important. Eyes is something, for example, if I'm talking about here, is very, these, both of the guys are just a regular everyday laborers. Either you talk about the guy on the right or a guy on the left. Right hand side guy, I remember that he was a rickshaw puller, sitting on his rickshaw in the hot afternoon. The left hand guy is basically a handyman, a guy who just works as a daily laborer. But the character, the eye, the sun, the colors behind was fascinating for me. So as long as it's a regular day in Old Delhi, regular Sunday, where those people are living or working there, get their day haircut. So that's why I didn't my style, because even irrespective of their work, they are creative. They like to have some design style in their own. So that's how I captured. But if you look at this framing here, I use the shoulder of the guy as a frame and his arm as a shoulder. So again, as I said, those who are joining later or just joined now, I'm just trying to explain that today I'm not talking about any technical knowledge. I'm just talking about the storytelling aspect of photography. So, as I said, city have own different colors, characters, and trust me, as many colors you're going to bring to your picture, really highlight or really make it more enjoyable. So a regular morning on the left hand side, Panditji before going or after going puja, just enjoying his daily news. Where another guy, they both the street scene are from Varanasi. Both the pictures were captured in the Varanasi, and another Panditji just finished his, you can say, a family job of a priest and sitting, came back and sat on his shop, which he run for a commercial earning. So both the ways I was trying to explain the city that have many characters. And the colors, of course, is one of the segments that if you look at on the left hand side picture, yellow, blue, orange, pink, and on the right hand side you can see the orange, white, green that we have captured. So the other thing which fascinates me is my work. So luckily on the street scene or on India, I get to see lot of different kind of work. But they all work, street works have their story to tell. Where I'm talking about my work, which is a hard work, of course. Sometimes on the faces you can't see, they're smiling, they're happy. That is an attitude of every Indian, no matter what the conditions are. Even now, if you look at, we are still smiling every time, irrespective of the kind of hurdles we get in everyday life. But there are always two things that can explain the hard work. In this case, I am trying to showcase the hard work by showing his hand. That you can see the card, you can see the character in hand. The second, which is untold story, is always the feet. A lot of people is not really, very different. So, but sometimes even your hands are good. You look smiling. You do, but your feet doesn't lie. There's a story of hard workers who are pulling the rickshaws or doing everything. This is just a storytelling. I'm not saying that anybody have to do all the same thing, storyline. But I'm saying that a daily life around you, daily life, what you see, can work as one of the stories. So in this case, I said my work, which is hard work. So just showcasing the people who do hard work. So after a pretty much in the morning. The guy is enjoying his evening by just lying down, or the same other guy after putting pretty heavy uh, it's a good done with his day job, enjoying his evening sleep. You can see the cracks on his feet. You can see the character on his feet. For me, these are the fascinating factors. Any picture which could tell a story of or about the person without even showing his face. So that is one of the subjects I kept it. This is among one of my favorite pictures. So it's a belief that just spread the flowers on the floor. We don't want I don't want her to walk on the hard floor. Even this woman who always walking over the flowers in the flower market still faces the cracks because that's a life, that's a hard work. So these kind of stories will always make impact and changes the character of where I bought because there's a lot more than just uh, the working. We also do a lot of games or on the live. So this scene defines a hard work by Akhara, in Akhara by a wrestler. These are some of the traditional equipment they use in their daily morning exercises. I just tried to capture this guy, body and his equipment, and I like it. Personally, I love this kind of street scenes or situation scenes. And these are not monument bound. Even the city has such character. And of course, we love cards in India. This picture defines a street game again on a Sunday afternoon, which is an holiday in Old Delhi. And we bought out this picture. I clicked this picture while the laborers who are busy throughout the week, they get some personal time on the afternoons of the weekend, like Sunday. They enjoy by playing the games. So for and this guy lucky got the queen here. You can see it. I can see almost a good hand that he's making. But anyway, it was idea to capture the game. And if you look at here, the angle that I kept. So three takeaways from today session going to be the angle, the light, and a subject. That is what one photo tour guide have to focus on. It's not about how good you operate camera. It is about how good you see the situation. It should be clicked. So that is the takeaway from today's session. The next street scene for me. So as earlier briefed that I like smoke, so I captured this guy with a cigarette here. But of course, chess, which cannot be ignored. He gave it to the world. So the chess scene happening in the street. And it shows a Sunday afternoon or a closed day afternoon, holiday afternoon. You can see the shutter was down. And I also like the guy who's wearing a black trouser is having a black side. The guy who is wearing a white trouser is having a white side. So it depends how you see it and how many stories can you bring around it. So you need to have a very quick eye about it. I like the black guy, the black side guy holding a white cigarette, and a white side guy wearing a black strap watch. So one picture could be narrated in a many different ways. So that is your skill set, that how many different prospect angles and how spontaneous you are about clicking or guessing the scene which should be clicked. The second scene comes as my city and my food. We cannot ignore the food in every city here. And being a food guy, I always talk about the food and the street scene again, which can be captured. If you look at, this is a regular morning vegetable vendor. But if you look at, trust me, this picture will really make you think that where I was when I clicked this picture. It was not I was standing on, but it's a quick small camera trick where you can capture maximum out of your picture. So yeah, I'm open for later consultation by any of the guys you want. Later on, I can, of course, the situation get better. We can always talk about practicals of such things. But it's again storytelling, that the perfect V between the veggies, the vendors, and how well this guy have incorporated this hole in this picture. That tells another story. This is basically a guy on the street of Jodhpur. You can see a dessert called Gaver right behind Paila, and he's making a fresh Gaver. The art cannot be ignored of cooking here in India, but it also brings a lot of unique characters when you're cooking or when you click on somebody's kitchen. So for me, the way of in the pan was fascinating, and this line dripping from the glass and getting in this pot was fascinating. Of course, nothing can beat the fresh besan laddu. So again, the art here was to highlight the laddu along with the background color. So it's not that I could have clicked this picture from this angle on the extreme left and straight ahead, but would have got this amazing green background. So there's a lot of basic senses of picture that how pictures look like. So I now want to request everyone when somebody look at a good picture, must study the background, must study the angle, must study the focus area of the picture where if you look at, I've been focusing here, particularly this section I've been focusing because this was having a maximum light reflection. The next section, of course, we're talking about the food, so we cannot ignore some amazing tempting foods coming here. So again, the character, the highlight was here. In this case, the highlight was here. In this case, highlight was in this middle one. In this case, center highlight. Focus was here in the dead. So, of course, lot of characters cannot be ignored. Key takeaway again, I'm marking it. Your angle, your lighting position, and your background. That is the most important factor in all the pictures. My woman, my pride. Beyond by saying this, without saying this, that we have one of the most beautiful women on the planet, and above that, they dress very well. They have some dignity when they're getting dressed and beautifully makeup, eye makeup, or the jewelry. But one more thing is that how you capture the daily life of a woman. So again, a scene from a wholesale farm market. In spite of hard work or life, the woman is not forgetting her basic rituals of, are we talking about the accolade, or you're talking about the alta, which is, or the touring, which for me the most beautiful way way of celebrating the woman on here. So do here, if you can say smile, you can talk about the nail paint, you can talk about the bangles, and here too, you can see my focus was here. Hmm. So this lady was with me on this tour particularly. They were from US and they were in their 60s, and for them it was one of the best memories for the trip later on what I got as a review because for them these kind of colors are not they're used to. Even the prospect of looking at something like this was unusual for them, which really became memorable for them. And we also encourage others to come on the same thing. So if you look at this particular picture, to look at the angle, again I have used the shoulder action where I was on the left hand side of the shoulder and captured the picture the way or imagining if she is looking at a hand, how what's going to be seen. That's what I captured. In this angle, I was completely on the floor. If you look at, there is no distance from the floor in between her hands. So I have to really lie down and get the picture to get maximum in the frame. Maximum in the frame. And in this case, I wanted to capture the maximum number of people here. And I was really loving the eye of, and the faces. So look at, again, these are sitting on the floor. You can see the bench up here. So I have to lie down and get this picture done. So angle was important. Color were already enough there. Third thing was the light. Luckily, the light was right amount here. You have to really go early morning. So there is a light already with come there. So in this case, I see women in many different characters. One who cooks, they all do their job nicely. They all do the work quietly and gracefully. So on the left hand side, street cleaners from the community kitchen in the Jodhpur, where these women make food for the community. And this is a Manganya dance troupe, which is a tribe from Pakistan, just in the area, and they have a special dance form and special dressing sense too. So I was trying to capture that best I can. For me, the most fascinating point in this picture was her smile. Even facing the thousand audience right there, she was able to make an eye contact with me because she knew I'm standing right at the corner. So it is also about the spontaneousness that what you can capture. Or if you can guide anyone, that's how you can get. So sometimes the subject helps you this way. So I can just say that I was lucky here that I got this eyeball towards me. So my lens is also very, very important because that is what I was trying to make a point. Right? It's not about the subject bound, it is about your eye. It is completely based on that how well you understand the character, how well you understand the situation, and how spontaneous you are. So how spontaneous and how quick, basically when I say spontaneous, I was how quick about to explain anyone that this is what you can click instantly. So in this case, you are not clicking since we are in these, we are on the other side of this game where we have to tell others to get this picture. Of course, I'm happy if you guys click some pictures and become some good photographer or a guy who can really promote India by their pictures. Nothing better than that. And of course, it helps really to get India promoted around the world because pictures goes around the world now because of the internet and things. And at least it's a very good medium of promoting our country too. But when I say my lens means I really still not talking about the equipment here. I'm not really bounding to even if you have a best phone or even you have a small any phone you got nowadays. Most of you have a smartphone, and you are not dependent on any amazing camera equipment. You can just take good pictures of your phone. I have hundreds of pictures which are better with the phone than actually a camera. So I really bring my faith back in that your photography skill is not camera bound. It is more about that you have to have your eye about it. That's what is the character. For me, this a lady from Rajasthan. I take this picture in Jodhpur. Lady come from in near Jodhpur. She was here early morning for some trade, but I love the wrinkle, which is defining me a story of age. If you look at and how many weathers she has gone through, and after that, of course, I had her. She was nice. She was telling me what she does and how she was in late 80s basically, but she was telling me that to eat healthy and so on. There's a lot of stories. You learn a lot of stories when you. So basically, it's an endless subject. We can talk for hours on. This is one of my signature shots. I try that if I can get some good kids, if that happens for me. So I call the salute of life. So I have hundreds of pictures saluting for the life, even in their daily life. They are maybe not, you can say, privileged, but the smile, the eye, I see the growth in their eye. So I always capture them. I also carry a small camera, which is like a click and print camera. So sometimes I get them. So this was a slideshow. I could have extended the slideshow. I can talk for hours. I have thousands of pictures we have in our portfolio on the social media and website. We only use our own photos. But talk more today than actually because I was expecting more questions today by this because I was doing it unusually. I was not talking about the camera. I was not talking about the technical details of the camera in the session of photography. So I was expecting definitely more questions today than a regular slide. The slide I'm happy to share with Lama sir. I've already shared in case anybody wants a slide. Look at the slides. They can really, Rama sir can really help a student to create a questionnaire in case if they have about any particular picture they see and want to learn about technical details of it. And now I like to talk about these few points besides that what I made while explaining the pictures, that what is phototourism and what are the aspects of phototourism one cannot explain. Basically, photography tourism is, if you go back in history, if you talk about, there was a time when if a family of 5 people are traveling, only one camera is carried by a father. And now if you look at, even if it's a family of 5 people, everybody maybe have 1 camera, 2 camera, rest of them carrying a phone. And there are new social media platforms which are requiring special Instagrammable picture or talking about social media pictures. For any facilitator who is in the field of either talking about taking the tour or organizing the tour for their guests, one should always talk about the photography options there. And if you can just drive their orientation towards capturing that moment, nothing better than that. So photography tourism also helps the country to grow their reach. And the role of photo storyteller I have explained in many pictures already other side. But I'm sure if you really go in deep and try to focus on those pictures and the storyline, kind of storyline I've shared with you, or when you look at any street scene, and if you go more deep and understand, look at one picture and try to think about the many stories that you can tell, because no picture comes with any guidebook or story already. So it will really going to help you to create a storyline. Do we need a best camera? We don't need a best camera for photography tourism. You just need to have a knowledge of things which can be captured. So you're not really have to make an instant investment to become a photo tour guide or a storyteller, photo storyteller. Study time for a monument, of course, is important, but sometimes, when you visit a monument or when you take your guests to the monument, you do not want their precious time to be wasted, because everybody works with a limited time frame of 1 hour or 2 hours for a particular monument. And if you start explaining them while they're at the spot, the detailed description can sometimes okay, but also becomes, or you lose the contact between you and the guest. So photography angles of every monument and a fun story around it always works well. So even if you're at Taj, if you have a different angle to click a Taj, and then a story along with about the Taj, always works amazing. People really get interested about it. History to carry back. Basically, when I said that earlier, I said that possibly you can't take Taj with you. You can't take back Taj with you. But if you're getting somebody a good picture of a Taj with his own camera, become as a privilege for himself to carry back, and that is his private Taj, because that is what's captured by him. Maybe he didn't make a Taj, but he got a best picture for a Taj that he clicked. If you can help yourself or others to create a storyline, specifically a signature in every picture. Signature, I mean some unique photography angles or this works better. We always have to maintain the dignity of a country. So when we are saying that as a photography company, I'm just sharing some incidents here. We get a lot of requests. People want to click slum. People want to capture the non-affluent sector of country. So we, as a commercial people, even we maintain something that this is a bad part of our society, and we rather work to eliminate those factors rather than sell them. Because when you create a product over something which is not good, so it becomes a very, very important factor that that product needs to survive or should sustain to exist. So we as a company try to work on non-existing of such situation that we can feel shame at any point, rather than creating a product over such things. So no slum to us. Personally, we work that slum should not exist. So if you create a setup for the slum tour, then we really essentially or internally want the slum to exist. But as a country person, I do not want slum to exist. So we never create such products that require some bad things to stay always. So that is also you really have to be careful while creating such things, because you as a tourism you have to maintain the dignity of the country as well. So, photography is a deep assessment of situation. Photography particularly is a deep assessment of situation. So you really need to sharpen your tools, the eye tools when I say, of spontaneous identifying the subject which can be clicked. You do not need an amazing camera, which is I've always been talking about. Even a phone, or not even phone or camera, should work. A lot of time I go on a photo tour, I don't even pull out my camera. I'm just walking around with my guests and getting the best pictures. And you can go on TripAdvisor and you can go everywhere and you can look at the reviews about the tour. So, and this is a true statement. So sometimes you don't even have to click yourself a picture. You just, of course, after these all years, we have a collection of thousands of pictures, so which we're also trying to save a little space on. But yes, sometimes it happens about that you end up taking 5 pictures, not 200, 5, but their 5 are good. So over the time, you always develop your own personal expertise as well. But at this point, my recommendation is uh, to develop or develop your skill to identify and carry this skill set that you understand besides the monument knowledge. I think it's 1:20, Ramasa. Do you think we should start question and answers?
Yes, sir. Sure. Thank you very much, sir, for informative session on India with lenses, and thank you for sharing lovely picture. It was indeed a lovely picture. So now, over to audience, if you have any questions, you can ask him. Yes. Any questions, guys? You can write the question in the chat box also.
How much someone can earn from a travel photography? What are the scope in India? Mr. Muki's vlog. See, it is completely based on your own travel photography. What do you mean by travel photography? You really have to learn and define it. As I said that within a photography, multiple segments can be developed. Travel photography could be that you work as a freelancer photographer for hotels and work as a vlogger or reporter. I guess your name says a lot that you're a vlogger, but scope is indefinite. I know people who are making 6 figures, 5 figures, and good numbers just by the photography. So the scope is only based on your capability as well. Scope exists. That's why there are a lot of photographers. The country is huge, so scope is going nowhere. So there is a huge space, I guess. And still, thank you, sir. I have some questions. Which editing software you use to edit your shots? So, the Lightroom is one software we use, and a lot of pictures I also edit by. I have a Mac, and the Mac now has a very good tool itself. So, and personally, if you ask me, I like to less test my pictures. So it is important that you work on your skill set to get the picture right rather than editing them too much. So personally, I do not like too much edited pictures. Too much means that you are like putting 2 different shades in one picture, highlighting 2 differently. So they look like professional and processed pictures. I think the skill of a photographer is capturing the shot right rather than processing it right. So always try to work on clicking it right. So like you said, we don't require a big camera, but sir, at times for the macro shots and the bokeh shots, we do need a good gear. If not, how can one capture these shots? Of course, the points you are making nowadays, if you really go on Amazon or other sites, as soon as they start their operation, you can get a small attachments at a very affordable price, which are like a micro lenses. You can use it with your phone. So, you have to look out. And as the session was today about, as a professional, how you can be a good photo to a guide than a photographer. But anyhow, it is also important that you should have a good hand on the subject that you are dealing with. So you can look out for those small attachments you can get at a very affordable price at Amazon, which can be fixed over your smartphone, and they cost 200 or 300 rupees only, possibly lesser as well. Sir, as you said, it's about the perception, but do you think editing photo can take away the reality? As I already said that sometimes over processing the picture could take the reality out of it. I completely agree with this point that over processing the picture could take the reality out of the picture. Yes, that is for sure. Any other guy? I think
Yes, sir. I do have one question. As
your
you have,
name,
sir, Akash,
name,
Akash Chatterjee. So, as you said, like photography is like storytelling. You were talking about that. So, what is your take on like first you take a frame and then develop a story around it, or first you develop a story and then try to capture something related to it?
particularly as I say that today we are talking about a photography which is not monument bounded. So personally, if you say, uh, uh, personally, if you ask me that you cannot, you will get a less pictures if you are particular about one. So one always have to go out with at least 5 to 6 different prospects, learning my situation you are in, and you will always get the pictures around your 5, 6 stories. So you cannot only have one focus agenda when you are going out for pictures or taking somebody out of the pictures. So for example, I haven't pulled out today, like I have hundreds of shots of different locks hanging in Old Delhi, hundreds of gates that I have shot in Old Delhi. They were all beautiful. And it's not that especially I went to click only doors. Of course, I'm walking the street. I have agendas like clicking the door, clicking the locks, clicking the street workers, clicking the hard work, clicking the barber, clicking the uh, light, clicking the colors that what could come across to me, clicking the food, vegetables. So you need to have at least 5 to 7 prospects when you're going out, so that in that particular bracket or in the particular section you can sort them once you're back. So if you have that, so don't bound yourself to one particular subject. Take when you're going out, think about 5 to 7 things at least that you can click, and then come back and sort them and put them in that particular manner. And I guess I have answered your question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
But sir, there was a shot. Woman was weaving a garland. I think those kind of shots can be captured by a big camera. Nobody, I think, Surya, I have a lot of pictures over my phone. Unfortunately, I can't show you all the pictures here. It would have been a longer session. But trust me, I have some amazing pictures just shot by the phone. So, and you're not bounded by the camera. Of course, I had the camera. I clicked the camera today. All the shots I bought here to showcase you are by the camera, because I'm trying to give you a prospect that what your guests could click, because only guy you're going to be hired only for camera. But you're not bound to the camera. Trust me, you're not at all bound to the camera. Sir, what is the point of view on tone and colors? Pati Bengali. Pati, tone and colors. I think in my presentation, I have shown a lot of pictures just on the black and white, and they were beautiful. Better, they were much beautiful in the black and white. So it is completely subject based. It is completely based on how and what angle did you click it. But personally, I am a black and white fan. I really love the pictures in the grayscale. So, sir, I'm going over the next question, Mr. Divakar. Sir, the good camera sensor play important role in photography? Of course, buddy. Everything plays major role when it comes to the equipment, and it's an endless thing. You know, you can get a good camera at 30,000 rupees, Canon 1300. My initial camera was very basic one, and I still look at the pictures from that camera. Sometimes better than the one which I have now. Today I own some couple of cameras. Some of them are very expensive ones. But sometimes if I go back and think about the pictures that I got from the cheapest camera, they were better. So it is never. It's a very debatable question that how well I know people who got one of the best cameras for the shitty pictures. So I think that it's more about the person who's clicking than any piece of equipment that you're using. Now the old Delhi is a heaven for photography. Of course, I think complete Delhi is heaven for. I have been to Mayapuri, particularly. You'll be surprised, and amazing shots I got from Mayapuri. It's a junkyard market. I have been to Gazipur Flower Mandi. I have been to a lot of different markets beside Old Delhi, and I was not disappointed. Trust me. So, of course, it is one of the you can say heaven or one of the best places for the photography, but it is not the only place for the photography. So you have to take off that perception that only particular area you can get, because today I wanted to make your prospect wider. That even if your city doesn't have a monument, you have a lot to capture. So if you particularly talk about Northeast, it is a beautiful place, and they don't have much monument, but yes, they have a beautiful people, beautiful street scene, beautiful landscape that one can capture. So that place is not. It is 100% picturable or clickable. Even they don't have much monuments around there. So I can say it's better than some of the monument places. So you as a photo teller or storyteller, you should not be area bound. You should be story bound. Then how well you can bring out story out of. I remember a few months back, I was just driving from Delhi to Ranthambore, and on the way near Dosa, I came across a shepherd. I was driving, so a guy was herding his sheep, and I can't tell you how amazing that guy was. And I just got down, pulled out my camera, and got a picture of him. I don't know. Am I on the screen, Lamasa? Can you see me on the screen?
Yeah, you're on the screen.
Am I on the screen? So can I just showcase one picture?
Sure.
And I you know what? Those who were asking me that the camera works better. No, guys, I'll show you. I got that the better picture with the phone, even though I clicked with both. But the better picture was with the phone. So, can you see, Lama sir? Can you see the phone picture?
Yeah, yes, sir. Others can also see, I guess.
Can you see the picture? The shepherd.
Yes, sir.
And this picture turned out better with a phone than a camera. So later on, I edited it differently, where I had this just got the color and black and white aspect to it. So this shows that you're not. Though I clicked it with the camera and phone too, but the phone picture turned out better. Okay. How do you make people comfortable while shooting their portrait in the street? Papi, I think gesture matters a lot. You can't be selfish when you are clicking their picture. So you need to smile. You have to ask them smartly if you are staging them, and then you also have to show them their pictures as a nice gesture. You don't have to pay them. People are very happy in India. They are very cooperative in India. Even you just smilingly show their picture that this is what I have clicked. And you have to respect people as well. If somebody says no, it means no. Either you have to hidely take a candid shot where they cannot spot you. But if you come across to them, you really want to have a portrait, you have to be smilingly ask them, can I click a picture? And yes, at the gesture, you just show their pictures. I agree, sir. Image processing algorithm for mobile nowadays is really top notch. Yes, Surya, yes. I agree. I think we are about 3 minutes. Any other guy would like to ask me anything?
Did you ever capture beach views, sir?
Beach views? Yes, buddy, I don't even know how many pictures I have. Today morning, it was for this particular 37 slides, man. I could have made it like 370 slides here. How many pictures I tell you I have now? I don't even recall myself. My phone memories, I have to, like, it's full of the pictures. You have to keep on taking a backup and doing it. So, a lot of good beach pictures I have, and some of them are amazing. Taj pictures I have a lot. Old Delhi is, of course, my ground. And while trying, I don't know if you can see my, can you see me? I can't see myself. Can you see my background, guys?
Yeah.
You see some pictures on the wall?
Right.
This is on the beach in Kofifi Island, and this is a fire show which I captured. Now, in a slow motion, I tried the lower frame rate. I captured this. So this is on a fire show. So you never know where you can and how. I could have clicked just normal, but that's just spontaneously. I thought I can with a lower frame rate I can get a better pictures. So I say it's endless creativity. You can go beyond anything. So I guess we can conclude here. Or anyone for any last questions or something?
Any questions, guys?
I guess no. Let's take it as a no. So thank you, Lama sir, for this opportunity to talk about the subject. I'm open in case any of your students ask you further about the presentation or any other, they like to talk to me about anything, I'm happy to assist them further.
Sure, sir. Anytime, sir. Anytime. And so on behalf of audience, I would like to thank you